Hello and welcome back to the TK Talk YouTube channel. In this video, we will record for you the classical game of rock, paper, scissors, how to plan for a program coding, explain what is the game of rock, paper, scissors, how to test a code, and lastly, how to debug a code. This video is a little bit long, so we will split it into two videos. This one and the next video that we plan to publish next week, inshallah. If you find that video helpful, please like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell. The game. The game involves three components: scissors, paper, rock, along with 4 cases. If the outcome is the same for you and your friend, or in this case your computer and yourself, it will be a tie. Our second case is when you choose paper and your friend chooses rock. In that case, humans win. Our third case is when you choose scissors and your friend chooses rock. In that case, humans win. Finally, if you choose rock and your friend chooses scissors, humans will win. This presentation is going to show you an example of how the game works.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoe.
Tie!
Rock, paper, scissors, shoe. Oh no!
Winner!
Rock, paper, scissors, shoes.
Winner!
Rock, paper, scissors, shoes.
Winner!
The program. Let's start our program flowchart. A simple explanation of flowchart. Flowchart is a kind of diagram that reflects our thought in a picture to show how we resolve the problem, the relations and sequence of execution, and all of inputs and outputs to that problem. Flowcharts comprise standard symbols for each operation. For example, start and end of the program showed as an oval shape. However, we will not be doing that in this episode, but we will use here a simplified version of flowchart to explain the overall idea before starting to code. So what are the inputs to our program? We have two variables: computer, that represents robot's choice, and human, that represents your choice. Both of those variables will be a string type to hold the name of the choice as text. Also, we will create a list, so we will make a variable called choice. Inside that list, we will specifically use the 3 available choices, which is rock, paper, scissors. Maybe this variable list will not be actively used in this program, but in future episodes, when we will explain loops, we will use lists to let the computer choose automatically or randomly from the values inside. For who doesn't know what is the list variables, we will need to go to our previous episodes. You can find that on the top of the screen. Simply, list is a variable that contains more than one value inside. Let's go to Google Colab and to find the variables. It's preferred to do the same steps with me and test your program. Open Google Colab. If you don't know, please refer to our video at the top of the screen tool in Google Colab. Open New Jupyter Notebook. Change the notebook title. Choose a title that represents the main idea of the program, in this case, Rock, Paper, Scissors, Revision 1. Add a text cell. Move the text cell above the code cell. Double-click the text cell to edit the text inside. Make one hash to make header level 1 and type first trial. Once you finish editing the text, click Close Markdown Editor button, which looks like a pencil with cross line in between, or it looks like an anti-pencil symbol. Add another text cell. In that second text cell, type 2 hashes to make header level 2 and type input. Please remember that the hotkey Shift and Enter is used to finish the text cell editing or execute code cell. Create a list variable called choice. It contains applicable choices in string form. Create a variable called human and type a text style scissor. Create another variable called computer and type the available choices. Let's say scissors. Let's start flowcharting how the winner will be selected. I will use here a blue color for human and red color for robot. There are only 3 branches: rock, paper, scissors. Inside those 3 branches, there will be another 3 branches to represent the robot selection. Rock against rock, it is going to be tie. Rock against paper, robot will win. Rock against scissor, human is going to win. Same for the other cases. As a result, there will be a total of 3 branches and 9 possibilities. Now, let's start coding that. First, main branch. Add a text cell with header level 2 and type winner selection to highlight the starting of winner selection algorithm code. On the right hand of the text cell, during editing time, Google Colab shows you the appearance of the text. Adding more hashes would increase the heading level, and in return, it will decrease in font size. Add another code cell. Before going further in programming, I want to explain why text cell is very important to our code. Now, when we open the table of contents, we would notice the advantage of using text cell and header level. As you see, the table of contents is automatically organized to correspond to text cells and used header levels to give the programmer the best code organization and navigation tool to let the programmer know where he or she is inside the code. As you see here, yellow line points your current location on the code. By clicking on any line in the table of contents, it will transfer you directly to the corresponding header. Make a comment in the code cell highlighting that next code lines belong to branch when human chooses rock. Code comment starts with 1 hash as well, but this time more hashes will not change the font nor appear in the table of contents like text cells. Comments in the code cell are used only for documentation purposes, which means explaining why I wrote the code that way to remind myself in future when I want to debug or modify it. As a result, Google Colab turns comment line to green to let us distinguish easily where are the comments line. Comments might be added as well as in the end of the code line, and in both cases there is a complete line or at the end of the code line. Python will not execute it. It is just for our information as programmer. Let's think of code comments as leaving sticky notes in our books. Make a new code line and type the if statement if human variable is rock. Please note the colon at the end of the if statement line and the if condition where double equal sign means the question, does human variable contain the string rock inside it or not? You may review the if statement structure and types in previous videos. Link is shown now in the right upper corner of the screen. Comparison statement was explained in earlier video in this course as well, and the link is shown now in the right upper corner of the screen. Press enter to make another code line inside this branch, and type another if statement to compare or test the first sub-branch when robot chooses rock. Having if statement inside another if statement is called nested if. Remember that name, nested if, because we will use this expression in many occasions. Please note the automatic indentation in the beginning of the code line here. Indentation means that spaces at the beginning of the code line. While in other programming languages the indentation in code is for code reliability only, the indentation in Python is very mandatory to let Python know that this line of code is under or inside the upper code line. In this case, if statement in line number 3 is under the other if statement in line number 2. A Google Colab indentation equals 2 spaces or pressing 1 tab in the keyboard. However, Python looks only for 1 space, which means 1 space or more is acceptable by Python. Let's proceed with our code and print I to the user in case computer variable contains string rock. Please note the second indentation in the line number 4, which means this line is part of block code that starts in line number 3. To distinguish between code blocks, Google Colab has something called disclosure rate, which is that rotating arrow or triangle expand or collapse a portion of code defined by indentations, as explained before. You can also expand the collapsed code block using 3 dots that appear inside the collapsed code block. Now, let's make the first else statement for the other case for robot's choice, which is the second sub-branch when robot chooses paper. Here, we need to press backspace in the new line number 5 to make the else statement line align and start from the same vertical point as its if statement in line number 3. Make a new line. In this case, we will print robot 1 as a conclusion of a robot defeated human rock. Now, the third case and last sub-branch when human chooses scissors and print human 1 in this case. Also, we can replace the last else statement with else statement. I will add hash to elf line code number 7 to convert this line to comment, so I will not execute as explained before, and in the same time it is not deleted so I can go back to it in the future if my code trial doesn't work. Then I will add a new simple code line, else with colon, to execute the following line code number 9. In this case, neither of if condition in line number 3 nor line code elf condition in line code number 5 is true. You may observe that else statement doesn't test any condition but execute its code in case all upper if and else statements return false. So please be careful when you use else statement, since it doesn't test any condition. It could result in errors in your code during testing. With that, we conclude this episode. In this video, we studied rock, paper, scissors scenario. We learned what and how to create flowchart. We practiced using header levels in Jupyter notebooks and saw how to code improvements and header levels could organize our code and make it easy for us to navigate it. We coded the first main branch of our rock, paper, scissors scenario. In the next episode, we will complete other scenarios, exercise heavy on all of the 4 if statements type, follow structured testing procedure and see different kinds of errors. We will even improve our code to have faster execution and better performance. Thanks for watching this video. Please watch it many times and do the code yourself. Finally, let us know if you have any questions. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and watch previous videos. Thanks and see you in the next video.